GHE is on Zoom.
Yeah, oh wait, never mind. Shit,
Good.
doing call.
We can call to order the Tuesday, May 13th, 2025 meeting of the San Miguel County Historical Commission. We will delay the approval of the March minutes until our next meeting, and then I'll just hand it over to Janet to introduce our special guest.
Thanks, Ted. Yeah, so tonight we have Brian Yaquinta with us, who is the archaeologist with the BLM's Tres Rios Field Office. And I had shared some previous information with the Historical Commission. And Brian is here to discuss the nomination of the Burrow Mine Complex to be considered for listing in the National Register of Historic Places. So, Brian, thank you for being here, and we appreciate your time, and we look forward to your presentation.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I'll talk a little bit about the borough, but I've got some other stuff to share with you guys too, since I'm here.
Sure.
So, and this is just kind of a very, I will pass these out, just, it's a very just kind of overview of what I'm going to talk about with some of the projects that we have been working on. And so I'm the archaeologist for the Bureau of Land Management Office. So we cover pretty much all of San Miguel County from what would be the closest, kind of like Natarita, southwest of there is kind of the split between our office and the Uncompahgre Field Office. And so we get a lot of a lot of our historical resources pertain to ranching, but most of the stuff that we get is historic mining. So everything from as early as the Marie Curie Mill of like 1903 up to uranium mining from the 1980s. So we have almost 80 years of uranium mining heritage. So it's like the bulk of the resources that we have in the county. And so kind of the first thing in this pamphlet that I have is we created a multiple property listing. So that's essentially you complete a multiple property documentation form, and that allows you to streamline National Register listings and this is pertinent to uranium, vanadium resources. And it created a historical context. So prior to this the multiple property listing existing, we didn't really have a historic context for uranium mining, different periods of significance, how to evaluate their eligibility to the National Register of Historic Places. So that's what this document did. We started this document in 2008, and we didn't get it signed until 2023. So it took us a very long time, but it is signed and in place. So as part of this multiple property listing, we're able to now put in more streamlined National Register nominations. And so we had to demonstrate how this would be used. So the first property we did was the Bachelor Mine. And this is in like very north San Miguel County, just below the Mount Rose line, like Dry Creek Basin, Wedding Bell Mountain area. And that was finalized in 2023. We got that one nominated. To my knowledge, that's the first uranium mine in Colorado to be nominated to the National Register. That is a 1950s to 1980s, uranium mine that helped produce ore for the Cold War efforts. It's primarily why it was listed. It's also a unique architectural design in that it has a wooden head frame. So it's one of the only ones that we have that has a wooden head frame. And that site is at this point remediated, like pretty much reclaimed. So we were able to retain a lot of the architectural features, the hoist house, and the head frame. There's some explosive adits, things like that, but most of the waste rock in the shaft has been closed. So it's safe for public visitation And then the second property, which is the Burrow Mine Complex, and that just got listed last month. And so that would be our second uranium mine listed in Colorado. And that's more down in Slick Rock. And that's a complex, so it's actually three mines that kind of we lumped into one nomination. And that particular one operated from 1950s into the 1980s. And it's really well preserved. We actually, this was one of the sites that we, in the 1990s, when they pretty much stopped operating, we set aside elements of the site for preservation instantly. So the Burrow Mine has different types of features that you would not normally see on historic mine sites. It still has the entire compressor system, head frames, it has shop buildings. Some of it was reclaimed, but we were able to preserve a lot of it for future interp. So that was kind of the focus of this nomination, was to nominate it. And we did a project with the DOE to stabilize the waste rock and stuff in place to keep it out of like the Dolores River. There's sediment ponds that help contain some more of the waste rock. And so that site is pretty well stabilized and ready for public visitation as well. And so a lot of our work is, over the years have been doing closure work, so closing mine features, adits, shafts, things like that, and trying to balance that with preserving sites. And so on the back, kind of the bigger picture thing that we want to do is going to be a historic mine interp loop. So future, we will have like the Burrow Mine open to public visitation, and hopefully that will have an interp loop. But we want to do a bigger one that's kind of in progress right now. We're calling it the Yellow Cake Interp Loop. We have a kiosk for it. We'll have a parking lot out there, and we'll try to send people. The bulk of the mines that are going to be across the county line, but we'll have several, including the Bachelor Mine in San Miguel County, and then most of it will be in Montrose County. And I think we have upwards of 14 sites that we're going to try to send people to that have been reclaimed and stabilized for public visitation. So trying to do more with interp. Part of this loop too is sending people down to the Henry Huff Cabin, which is another site that we listed to the National Register. That's it was built in 1913, and it's a historic log cabin for Henry Huff, who was he was adopted Paiute. And so he was Native American rancher, miner, and that cabin is in really good condition. It's probably one of the better preserved cabins we have. So that's also going to be kind of like an addition to this loop. So
When you say loop, driving loop, place.
Yeah, it uses county roads, so it's pretty well maintained. So like this particular one is, depending on the year, can be low clearance, otherwise four-wheel drive.
How many total miles is that?
It's 27 miles.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it could be biking if you want to do like bike packing or driving or whatever people
Yeah.
prefer.
Is this available on the website, you guys' website?
Not yet. It's still in draft form. But I think the goal is to have, so this will be kind of the basis for the kiosk. My vision is to have it in Avenza, because it is geo-referenced. So like you can just throw it in Avenza if you're familiar with Avenza. It's essentially an app that will show your location. So you can have these geo-referenced PDFs that essentially, if you're there, your location will show up on the map. So you can basically follow it around. And So, yeah, hopefully we will have a barcode where you could download it, or we'll have paper copies of this to take around, but we're still kind of working on finalizing it right now. And we will have, like I said, we're kind of doing the environmental clearances on the parking lot here shortly. We have the kiosk bought for it, and then we've got, we did get awarded signs to put up too. So each mine will get kind of its own mine name sign. And there could be some, I think, directional signs too.
Very cool. How do we get there from here?
From here, Norwood down
You
to,
said this is Slick Rock, right? Or,
yeah, so like, yeah, you'd probably have to go through Norwood and then
yeah.
come back up on 145 towards stuff.
Up Creek.
And then it's like, it's the U-29 road that goes,
Mm-hmm.
and then this particular, I think it will be at the junction of U-29 and Z15Z.
Okay.
Up there, the roads, it start getting,
Yeah.
the county roads get a little squirrely.
Lost out there quick.
Um,
Do you know, is any of this stuff located near where they may be hoping for new uranium? Is it kind of the same area where they're doing that?
Is it for what?
People trying to start looking for uranium again out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there are drilling projects and stuff underway.
So it's same area.
yeah,
Have you been to our uranium stuff here? Down Valley?
like Placerville and stuff.
Yeah.
I have not, no.
There's the county has the Angel Load Trail, above Placerville. There's a bunch of pretty much still kind of open adits up there. Some have been, looks like maybe somebody at some
above.
point barred some of the bigger ones off, but some are, it's pretty crazy. Still add that to your list if you're into yellow cake. It's amazing. It's like it's the Omega mine
Mhm.
complex, right?
Yeah, I think that was mostly vanadium up there,
Vanadium,
but vanadium and
Yeah.
low grade uranium.
yeah. And we
We're
have,
part
we
of
have
the vanadium
one of the
belt.
trams is still standing, and that's on our county historic register. You can see it from the highway if you look really close, if you're coming in from Ridgeway, but. 'Cause I've always wondered, like I said, so we have to look into like how much this stuff out there tied into, I guess, was it kind of separate operational wise? Because we had our own mills here.
It was,
Or-
I mean, it's all like, most of this stuff was probably shipped back to, Nucla or, Uravan,
European, right?
yeah. It's all connected, I mean,
Yeah.
same operators in a lot of cases, and
Interesting. Because I feel like that kind of gets not really overlooked, but it's not as well known how much was going on down valley, here. But it's all over the place,
Mhm.
both sides of the highway. When you really start climbing up the hills, you're gonna find all kinds of old operations for vanadium and some uranium, right? That's aren't the two usually found together?
yeah, it's usually a byproduct of, so like for. A lot of like our Sunday mine, like one of the biggest, like how they generate money is from vanadium. So it's usually found together.
Right, yeah. I wondered about that when we started climbing and hiking around these old vanadium mines. There's, some yellow cake still around somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah. You think?
yeah.
Yeah, I would think so.
I should
Ah.
pick up theirs too.
Have you reached out to anyone with the San Juan Hut system with their hut over there?
Yeah, I've talked to Kelly in the past. So their hut's on a mine. It's on the Rimrock #2 mine. And I made a similar, smaller kind of interp thing for her to distribute to people, because like we get tons of people are out like after they're done riding, like poking around. So like that's a really good mine to send people to, because it's reclaimed, and there's like a cool car on it that you can, like, you'll see tons of photos of people like posing in the car, and um so yeah. And it's kind of, this actually follows their bike loop. Like half of it is their bike loop.
Okay.
So it is, we do get however many users they get a year going down there. So it kind of provides some interest to those clients, which is a benefit.
Yeah.
More context for what they're riding through in this area.
So when is this going to become official, or when are you guys going to officially launch this? As far as.
Hopefully this summer.
Okay.
So, I mean, it'll probably be kind of rough at first, but I mean, kind of just get it out there, and then,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't anticipate like advertising it a ton, but more like for the San Juan Hut people or local. We get a lot of local people out there on the weekends. That's kind of more who we're going for.
Mhm.
And then if anybody ever wants to come to it, they can.
Good.
So are there any more mines within this 27-mile loop that, you guys are looking at, or, looking to add to as another scenic stop along the way? Or do you feel like you've pretty much identified everything within the area?
There's definitely more. It's just like kind
Or I
of,
mean, what's feasible to pursue, or what's.
yeah,
or-
it's kind of like public safety, what's been, what's been, hardened for public visitation. So that's kind of a big factor. Also, just interesting features left, because a lot of this stuff just got, some of this stuff got destroyed through reclamation. So it's just like
Sure.
waste rock or like wood, or probably not anything too interesting to someone who's not an archaeologist. So like these are generally the best preserved ones out there. And then, we do have the option to potentially add a few more with it. Yeah, I think the goal is to keep like trying to do more, trying to do more interp of this stuff across the county. So maybe not necessarily with this interp loop, but some other places as well. Because we do have some opportunities potentially like on the Dolores River, for boaters or things like that.
So then just to explain the process to everybody here, because like when you identify then a site, because initially when Brian, because I initially read about it in the Daily Planet, it was just a little, strip on page 4 and in a column, and then it was just terrorizing everybody until I tracked you down, within BLM or the US Forest. I was like, who's handling this? And then, when Ted and I were exchanging emails, and we thought, oh, let's offer them a letter of support, or let's get involved. And, and you pretty much said it like, well, we don't need your help, because we just identify, we nominate, and it's BLM land, and you just do it all soup to nuts, you just handle the entire process yourselves. So it's.
Yeah, and I think we could use like obviously probably county help for like promoting this stuff, or even for recommendations. Like if you guys have particular goals that you want to achieve for the county, like we definitely can try to work on like things like that together.
Well, and it'd be cool to add this, just as trail options in the West End. Because, I was just out at the county commissioner meeting in Egnar last Wednesday, and working on our first land conservation easement out there, which, we've never done anything out in Disappointment Valley, but yet, there is land worth preserving. So, for the Slick Rock Egnar community, it's sort of just showing as much effort and support for them as we do for the East End. So to me, every little bit, is that we can show there where the effort is being made. I think it's all helpful and I think they appreciate it.
Mhm.
Of course, it draws more people to their area, which, pros and cons to that, but
Still pretty remote.
oh, it is. It is. There's lots of open space, but yeah.
So is there just gonna be interpretive signs and is there gonna be like any signage along the route, like take a left, stay on this loop and things like that?
Yeah, so we got that grant this spring, so we actually ordered all the signs, so we'll have so many directional signs, and each mine will get a mine name sign, that way you kind of know you're at the mine. The current thought process, it's also this particular part of the loop is a landscape, so like it's a cultural, I mean, it's an industrial landscape for mining, so I don't want to put like a bunch of things out there and that are not consistent with like the historic mine feel. So each mine at this point won't have like its own input panel. So like I guess the ideal is we would have like a paper document, either using Avenza or physical copy, where you can kind of read some interp information about the mine and then go to the next stop. We do have, we did get funding to put in interp at the Bachelor mine, so that does have a kiosk with information about the mine, but other ones on the loop won't. So just really basic directional signage to let people know where they're at.
Can't think of the app name, but there's like an app, like a interpretive app that when you drive around or hike around, that you can purchase like narratives to certain sites. I think I have it, I gotta look it up, but
Oh, cool.
That could be cool.
but something maybe you can look into that someone could purchase for this loop and then we could maybe help your cause or maintenance.
Yeah, that definitely could be beneficial.
You get signal there.
Yeah,
I
that's
know,
part of
right?
the reason for choosing the parking lot is because it's the last good point of the county road, but it also, you get at least like 2 bars. I don't know if you can download something there. I mean, but you definitely can get there, so.
Yeah, we went through the kind of a similar thing out of the Keystone Gorge outside of town, put some panels up there last year. We talked about the small like QR codes, but there's really not a signal there, so
Yeah,
dead in the water.
Yeah.
we're working on it though. We've added, we're adding Starlink attributes at various county sites. So we have a portable Starlink antenna, and we finally have the schoolhouse up and running and down Valley Park. So we're slowly but surely making strides in that direction. But hey, JJ, oh, sorry. What were you gonna say, Ted?
I was just curious, I wonder in the past, the people didn't want to draw attention to all the mining down the road here. And vanadium and all that because of the potential toxic attributes.
Yeah.
I swear when I moved to town, when you drive up, I swear I remember this, right? When you came up to where vanadium is, when you looked up the hill, I swear you used to be able to see one of those old, radioactive signs. It's not there anymore, but I swear I used to be there for a long time.
Huh.
They did a reclamation project there to alleviate some of that, but it was like a hot zone, but it was primarily vanadium mining. There was low grade uranium as a byproduct. As you said, they're commonly found together.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, I'm just curious of the past, if that's why we don't see a lot of, see any interpretation, and there's one sign acknowledging vanadium that.
Have you gone to the sites and taken readings, and is there anything of significance or anything hotter than anything else in the surrounding region?
In most cases, no, we do have a lot of data for the sites in terms of like I guess it would be radioactive levels, and that's pretty low. That's kind of one reason why our focus is closures, because like as soon as you go inside without ventilation, I mean, it can be, just the readings are super high. So as long as you're staying out and for the most part, it's pretty low. And a lot of them, a lot of these hits don't have waste rock on them still. So yeah, it's in general pretty safe to go to these places.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's my understanding you have to process to get to the or radioactive uranium.
yeah, and it's the dust, and it's also like going inside too. So
Yeah.
outside, like, it's not, in most cases, it's slightly higher than like normal background for this area. Because we already have a certain level of just, with radon gases in the houses and stuff like that. So it's all around us, and county roads were made out of waste rock, and it's kind of everywhere.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So will each site then be controlled as far as access? Not that somebody's gonna be there, but I mean, as far as, blocking off access to, like the interior, or, you'll just obviously keep people out where,
Yeah, we have permanent closures on them.
oh, okay, on all of them, okay.
Yeah, so we wouldn't, I mean, we wouldn't send somebody to something that's open.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't think so, but,
And we're trying, I mean, we're trying to, um, we're pretty close to having, I would say, like most of the super dangerous stuff closed. Like we don't have, I don't think of any like open shafts still and things like that.
right,
And we're trying to prioritize, but for this part of the world, like most stuff is closed. So. And it's, yeah, either it's some sort of great, but in a lot of cases, most of the stuff's backfilled. So it's can't really get into it. Some
Mhm.
stuff has doors or things like that, but
You mentioned that you might have other potential projects you were looking at in the county, in San Miguel.
this was the main one. We I think any potential projects would be additional listings. So, but as of right now, it's hard to even put in for those just because of funding. So, I think the priority would be kind of getting the interloop set up. We were supposed to get like a kiosk for the Burrow mine to install this year with interloop information, and I think with funding, that's probably not going to happen. So, it might be a little bit before we can start planning other projects at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there any other archaeological projects that you've been working on or anything you want to share with us that we'd be interested in hearing?
I've been doing more stuff in Montezuma County. So
Yeah.
I haven't had yeah, I would say the kind of the Burrow Mine nomination was my last big one for San Miguel. We don't have like a ton of projects in the county right now. So
Pardon my ignorance, but so do you just deal with BLM and not Forest Service?
correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so our office covers pretty much BLM land from Archuleta, La Plata, Montezuma, Dolores, San Miguel, and Montrose. We have the 6 counties.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got kind of, I don't know, all these questions, but like, I guess percentage wise, would you like is your more like modern archaeology or more ancient archaeology?
I would say like personally both.
Yeah,
I would say most of, depending on the projects, I would say most of just at work, I would say most of our resources are prehistoric that we deal with, unless it's like, a closure project or something like that, but mostly, it's definitely like we have more prehistoric than historics.
that's-
So,
Yeah, I mean, have you ever, I was curious, like, have you ever gotten into anything near us? On the BLM land around here? You ever been out there, boots on the ground, looking at something?
no, just it's with it being a different field office, I don't, yeah,
Okay,
um,
I get confused what's BLM and Forest Service when you're driving around.
Oh, yeah.
Kinda,
and even if you have BLM, it might not be the right office, because our splits are pretty arbitrary. It's not even like Highway 90, it's like a ridge line, so it's. I will, I do cover like a little bit on the other side if I need to, but like it is, yeah.
interesting.
If it's, yeah, some BLM just like on the other side of my BLM.
Yeah,
Um,
it's interesting.
yeah, distinction is kind of hard to figure out who's working there,
Yeah.
but
I mean, that was at the museum in Denver, what's it called? History. Yeah, something like that. That makes sense. History of Nebraska and Denver. No, but they had like tucked away in a little corner, there was a piece about, I forget the name of it, but. The Utes, a lot of times would build the little structures with the branches and like stuff you see today that kids are doing.
mhm.
But they found them, they've been found in Colorado. So I wonder if anybody's ever really dug for that around here, since this was such. Used to
Such
be
a presence.
land back in the day,
Like the wiki ups.
yeah, the
Yeah.
wiki exactly.
There's a good, I guess you could call it study. It's, DARG, DARG.
Gee,
It's the Dominguez Archaeological Resource Group, I think, resource or research group. But they did a wiki up study across the state of Colorado, and I think they have copies for down here.
interesting.
Research group.
DARG.
DARGnet.org.
Yeah, and that's like the principal, like biggest wiki up study, kind of more of like a occupation study done in Colorado. Like it was I think it was a state historic fund grant that, so they're able to go across the whole state and document those types of resources.
Thanks for that.
We have one right up here on the ridge. On the off of the Jurassic Loop.
Really?
There's a little sign on it and everything.
Yeah, jeez,
I think it's a wiki up. Very close to people's houses.
interesting. There you go.
Right over there.
It's probably a wiki up. It's hard to say for our, our area. We'll get some wiki ups but not like a ton. Like I can't think of any like really good examples like on our field office. But we do get, with the uranium mine stuff, we get a lot of sweat lodges from Navajo workers. And we do have a really big Navajo and Ute present, more historic Navajo Ute present. I think they said probably at one point close to 20% of the workforce was native. And you'll still see like we'll get hogans and sweat lodges and things probably from like the 1950s from.
Oh, wow.
So,
Hmm.
yeah.
I'm excited to go see this place. Think it's open.
Yeah, I'll have to let you guys know when we
Yeah.
start getting things, hopefully this summer. I mean, obviously a lot of things are up in the air right now with,
Yeah.
with the federal government, so hopefully this summer.
Is there hunting or people hunt around these areas?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's our main land use is hunting. Gets very little people. Like Gypsum Valley's getting some climbing maybe, and
Yeah.
we get some boaters, but like most of the year it's not a lot of people.
Where are they coming from? Duff Creek or,
The hunters,
yeah,
yeah, all the local towns around there.
gotcha.
Well, you got a lot of land out there. You'll
Oh,
have-
God, yeah.
Yeah. We're one of the smaller offices, but I think we're close to only 700,000 acres. So,
That you guys manage in the counties you like.
mhm.
Yeah. Still quite a bit.
yeah, it's a lot of ground to cover. Some days can be a lot of windshield time. Just, but
Hey, JJ, did you have any questions or comments for Brian?
No, I didn't. It's exciting just to, seconding what you said, Janet, just bringing more attention to the West End. I think we can't get enough of it really because we're so focused on the East, So, um, no, it's been enlightening and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, it's a good way. Well, you're doing this huge favor. Less windshield.
yeah.
Be awesome.
Yeah, no, it's a cool concept. Really is.
Well, it's a big part of the history out there, and
Mhm.
Well,
and acknowledging it, because like Ted was saying earlier, it's, we have such a deep mining history here, which, pros and cons to that as far as people willing to acknowledge it and those who prefer it never happened, but it's still here, so.
yeah, and it's a big part of American history, between its contributions.
Yeah, very much so.
It is the route entirely on BLM land? Private, is it crossing private land, or do the private landowners out there, or have you talked to them, are they in support of it, or?
It's solid BLM at that point.
Yeah, so they're like,
Yeah, the only kind of, we have lease tracks, which are DOE with raw minerals, but we don't have anything on the lease track, because there was some concern potentially about that, but we're avoiding that portion of it. So otherwise it's all, I mean, even lease tracks are BLM surface, so it's all BLM surface.
but there's just like a lot of trucks driving on roads and stuff.
No. I would be surprised if you saw like other people out there. I mean, you'll get some bikers, but honestly, no one's outside of hunting season, no one's really going out there. So it's
Yeah.
pretty remote and not a lot of people. So
No, it's great then to be on a bicycle. Because then you don't have any trucks going by kicking up the dust.
yeah, I wouldn't expect any like actual outside of a vehicle. I mean, there's no industry down there.
Mm.
It's it's just very remote. It's probably one of the prettiest places on the office. Nice camping, like it's just a very, you get like very wilderness experience out there.
Is there dispersed camping there now?
I was just gonna
Yeah.
ask.
Not a ton of it.
No.
I mean, it's all open to camp. I mean, you can, well, we don't have any restrictions on like camping or things like that, so it's pretty open to.
Okay. No. Was any of this stuff connected to all the stuff over there above Gateway, you know? So, when you go up that John Brown Road or something like that, above Gateway where the resort is, you head up that road, there's all kinds of old closed vanadium mines up there as well. Was curious if that somehow looped into this.
It's all part of, so it's kind of we call it the Yerevan Mineral Belt, but it's part of all similar formations. So like, really Moab, Gateway down into Arizona, New Mexico, San Juan County in Utah. It's kind of all the same geologic formations. So it's all, most of this is in the Morrison Formation. So it's really Four Corners specific.
Gotcha. Well, congratulations on this. This has been a huge project.
Yeah, everything's a lot of, for us, it's usually like years of planning, and then it takes a while to get money, and then, like the Burrow Mine's been in the works for 5 years just to get to this point. So,
Great.
it takes a while, but we usually get there.
Yeah.
Huge.
Well, it's just so cool to mix the
Field
historic,
trip.
recreational. Yes, field trip. But just to mix those together, the historical attributes with recreational,
Mm-hmm.
so. And
Yeah.
educational.
Yeah, I think, we're kind of doing travel management too, is for this area. So part of the public scoping that we did for that was they wanted recreation users want more like experience kind of based
Mhm.
type, like they don't want to just go out and ride around in a circle, like destination type stuff or experience type opportunities. So this kind of plays into that, like giving people, multiple things they can do, either educational, like sightseeing.
Yeah, no, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, cultural resources are always a good one to tie in with recreation.
Yeah, so JJ, I'll scan and email this to you after our meeting. So you can see what Brian presented and the overall mapping. All right, perfect. Well, yeah, I mean, you're welcome to hang out for the rest of the meeting, or, and please, keep us posted with when you do your official ribbon cutting, and we can post links on the county website, because Roy's looking to, and at least advertise or at least acknowledge, new trails on the west end. And with any other projects that you got going on.
That'd be great.
Granted, you don't need us, but still.
No, any support would be appreciated.
Okay.
So
No, thank you. Lise, do you have any questions or?
Yeah, I just think it's super cool that so just a question of the trail that you're saying, is it all paved, or could someone like ride a bike on a trail that whole loop?
so it's all county road, and depending on your question, like interpretation of maintained, it's a maintained county road. So it's gonna be, my recommendation would be like 4-wheel drive or like mountain bike. Yeah,
So it'd be more of like a four-wheeling
yeah.
mountain bike experience if you wanted to try riding it.
Yeah, you'll definitely need like higher clearance with it right now, because it's but yeah, it's easy, just like normal vehicle, 4-wheel drive or bikes.
Did you do a lot of the research yourself on the mines?
So no, part of our part of our AML abandoned mine land, we have a program that is the AML program, which is responsible for mine mine safety closures. So our process is we have to record them as cultural resources. determine their significance, if they're eligible for listing in the National Register or not. So we'll do full site recordings on everything we're closing out there. And so part of that is over the years, we've generated, I don't know if you guys heard of Eric Twitty, but he's really specializes in, he runs Mountain State Historical. It's a consulting firm, but he specializes in historic mining. He's literally wrote our context for here. He wrote the context for hard rock mining across the whole state. Like he's literally the person that writes the book on historic mining for Colorado, but he does a really good job with his recordings. So he has a lot of, he'll go through the inspection reports and he puts together really good narratives and all this stuff. So generally by the time we get like, this is just kind of pull information from the site forms.
What? How do you spell last name?
TWITTY.
Is he with BLM officially or?
No, he owns his own company.
Oh, that's what you said, Mountain
Yeah, he owns Mountain State Historicals
State.
or Historics.
Store.
But yeah, he's pretty much has done like through contracts, just all the research on a lot of these and, yeah, that was kind of the other benefit of doing this multiple property documentation form. I mean, that's, I could email you guys copies. I don't know if you've seen it. I could send you copies of that if you're interested in that. It's a 230-page document. So part of that was to just pull a lot of stuff together. And so we got some information from that, but it's a really good overview of the mining history of the area, if you want to read it.
I would love to read it.
Yeah, Ted would read it.
I'll send you, I mean, he's
Gotta send the link.
he's wrote several books and he's a very good writer. So like, I
Yeah.
feel like his stuff is not like super dry for
Yeah.
historical. So it's a really good read for a technical document. So,
We'd love to look at it.
but I can send you a copy of that.
That'd be awesome. I'll take it.
Plus, I mean, you know, that, we paid for it, but you know, that's in general, like can be used across the counties. So that is good for from here to Mesa County. And anybody can tier off of that. So if there's ever, you know, it doesn't have to be federal government too. So it could streamline National Register nominations for Forest Service or private or county, if anybody ever wanted to use it for listing.
Yeah, that'd be great to see.
So it's probably good for you guys to have a copy of it anyways, just to.
Sure. Okay. Oh, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to Dolores now.
Yeah, when it's dark, there's a lot of trees with the wind. There's like 3 trees down in the road already, so I don't really want to do that in the dark. But
Well, and the animals are out and moving about too, so.
yeah. But yeah, I'll send you stuff and then I can let you know on the loop and stuff.
Awesome.
All right,
Let's-
thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you, everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, take care. So yeah, my apologies. I didn't send out an actual official agenda. It's been crazy in the office and I'm short-staffed and Greg is out on paternity leave. God bless him. His wife had a baby boy on April 15th. So anyway, I have just a couple of quick things going on or things that I just want to mention to you guys. So yeah, as I mentioned, the county commissioners met in Egnar last Wednesday. And we discussed a land conservation easement. It's 5,720 acres. So it's the first land conservation easement in Disappointment Valley. And well, it's interesting. So this is the old historic Sukla Ranch. So it was recently purchased by Marvin Peachy, and that was back in November. And he has since, I mean, he's looking at regenerative ag. He's got grazing going on. I had Julie, our noxious weed management person with us. So we're going to get them involved in a noxious weed management program. We have our payment for ecosystem services program. And so what's unique about this is that they're surrounded completely by BLM land and US Forest Service land. So there's like an additional 85, 90,000 acres. So they can graze year round and constantly move the livestock so that they're constantly, replenishing other areas. And so after the county commissioner meeting, Julie and I drove out to the ranch, and we walked as much of it as we could with the two ranch managers. And because I always, with land conservation easements, I always feel, I need to do boots on the ground, see it, feel it, experience it, and just see as much as possible. And I was really impressed with how lush and green it actually is. Because, people always make fun of the name Disappointment Valley, saying, there's a reason why it has that name. But, it's just nice to see these efforts being made, and especially so quickly, because like I said, this guy purchased the land back in November, and he's just so aggressive, and, he's got certain goals in mind, and he just wants to move forward. So anyway, so with the 5,720 acres or 5,720 acres, he is donating the land conservation easement and retiring 35 parcels, which is equivalent to 163 development rights. And the one thing that was cool is that there are a number of historic cemeteries around the ranch. So we actually we stopped at a couple of them, ones that we could see from the road, and the Sukla family actually maintained ownership of a small parcel of the entire ranch, or the overall ranch, where their family is buried. But we saw the Hardman Cemetery, and then the two ranch managers were going to get me information on others that exist. And then, of course, there are some other, well, there are historic structures on site. So I'd asked them, if there were any that were worth considering for rehabilitation. The county, through our historic preservation program, we do offer small incentive grants to incentivize landowners to rehabilitate these structures. So they're going to get back to me on that. And again, this is all put together since last Wednesday. But I worked with Nick Jacobson of the Colorado West Land Trust, and they're based in Montrose. And he has a couple of other land conservation easements coming down the pike this year. But this was the first one that is in the West End, and has historic structures and historic cemeteries. So
What
I thought it was
direction
cool.
from Egnars is their land?
I'm sorry, what?
Which direction from Egnars is their land?
Oh Lord, it was 25 minutes out of, so we met, the county commissioner meeting was at the Egnar Firehouse. And then we drove, oh Lord, I believe we went through Slick Rock. I wasn't driving, I was a passenger. So, it's one of those, you make a left, you make a right, and we were following Nick.
You headed towards Slick Rock.
Yeah, so it was 25 minutes, so it was relatively close. And, and it was intentional that I had it on the agenda for that meeting, because obviously we were meeting in that area. So it was good to discuss the project with the local community. Because I'm just a huge proponent of making efforts on the West End and trying to just be equivalent in county focus, because there's always that disconnect between East and West. So trying to bridge that gap. But it's an exciting project, and they're hoping to close the end of this month, early mid-June. So another road trip. We can go out there if you want. Kieran's looking at me like, what?
How far is that gonna be? 2.5 hours?
Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours. Yeah, I didn't get home till like, I don't know, 7 o'clock or something. But anyway, it was cool. Another cool project. And then, yeah, I had emailed you all a while ago about the Placerville Cemetery. So we want to replace the signage. And Matt, it's so funny. Thank you for digging up that information. So Rich Hamilton, who our Parks Department, they manage the cemetery and have always cleaned it up, and they're down there trimming the weeds, keeping it clean, and they're going to put flags out for Veterans Day or Memorial Day, excuse me. Anyway, they're always acknowledging the people who are buried there. So we just wanted to do something out of respect for the people who are buried there, to do a sign sort of similar to what Lone Tree has. And I had sent around a link. So when you sent that information, I sent that to Rich, and I was like, hey, I don't know if you had this, but look what Matt dug up. And of course, Rich is like, Janet, I prepared that document. I was like, okay. So it's like, well, you spelled cemetery wrong. But anyway, so yeah, apparently Rich and Linda Luther, my predecessor, documented all this, but
Did anyone find a map? I wasn't able to find a map.
yeah, I'll have to ask him about that.
That was a map would accompany that.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure, let me ask him about that, because I'm sure he has something that outlines locations and stuff. But anyway, so yeah, if everybody's supportive, we were pricing out what these signs would cost, and then just looking at our budget and just trying to do something that would be nice, because whenever we meet with Placerville community, regardless of what our topic is, because the county commissioners meet with the Placerville community a couple of times, few times a year, the cemetery always comes up. So it'd just be nice to show that we're doing something in addition to just maintaining it.
Are you thinking something similar like the Lone Tree?
Yes. Yeah, and the link that I sent was sort of that, sort of like an arch.
Probably never was a sign.
Yeah.
I've never seen any historic photos of the cemetery
Right.
down there.
Yeah, no, and it's sort of, and I've been pushing John and Angela Dye, Bob Mather's wife, who serves on the County Open Space Commission, to just to move forward with that house study, the historic architectural landscape study, because we budget for it every year, we carry it forward every year. And and John's been gung-ho about trying to capture all the historic cemeteries within the county, and just catalog them, and just just provide details, and and sort of like a map, almost like this, just highlight where they're located. So so I have him and Angela talking again about that, because Angela, she's, like I said, she serves on the County Open Space Commission, but she's always also a landscape architect. So that's hence her involvement. And then I wanted to let you guys know that, so with our EPA grant, Ayers Associates, who we hired to administer the grant, they came to town today, and they'll be here tomorrow. Today they're up in Norway, just going to all the sites that we've identified up there, the 4 sites to come into play with the grant. And then tomorrow we're meeting at 8:30 in the morning, and then we are just going to be just a round robin from the Matterhorn Mill to Ophir to Telluride to Sawpit, to Placerville, and then we have a community meeting tomorrow night, which everybody is welcome to attend. It's with Placerville community, and I can share the renderings. I shared them once before, I believe. We have new ones though. So as I was telling Matt earlier, so what it is, I mean, the focus and the emphasis is on the Front Street area, so Placerville proper, so where you have the M&M Mercantile. And so like I said earlier, it's more to me like a beautification effort, and again, better delineation of traffic flow and slowing traffic down. Because in our meetings with the county commissioners, people complain about just people speeding through that area. And even though Road and Bridge, our county Road and Bridge, paints the lines there to show that, it is a 2-lane road, everybody still parks, in the middle of that road to run into the Mercantile to get their food. So nobody is respectful of those lines or considers it an actual roadway or throughway. So, I mean, for years, I've always wanted to put planter boxes in the center and just sort of brighten it up a bit. And again, just to better control traffic. So Ayers has come up with some renderings where they would want to close off that middle curb cut and then just create a buffer, trees and plantings, relocate the bus stop, and and just, yeah, like I said, just better identification of parking areas, outdoor picnic areas, and and just, again, just bringing that area to life more so. So Ayers and I presented it to our core group. We have a group of like 5 or 6 people within the Placerville proper area that we consider our core group. And then we were just presented it to them 2 weeks ago, just to bounce it off of them with some ideas and just to garner some comments and feedback. And, and they were supportive, loved it. And we're going to present it to the entire community tomorrow night at the Placerville Schoolhouse at 5 o'clock. So if anyone's interested, and as I remind everybody, again, this is a planning and assessment grant. So there are a lot of renderings involved, be it the sites in Norwood, even the Saw Pit Mercantile, the property owners, landowners tell us what their vision is for their site. And then we try to Ayers and their team try to capture that, bring it to fruition on paper. And then, there would have to be additional grant funding there as far as which Ayers would then help them earn or seek and pursue to bring it through to fruition as far as actually physically happening. But anyway, yeah. So the EPA grant is in place. Funding extends to September of 2027. So it's, still the meeting with the landowners and the property owners. The phase 1 assessment studies have been done. They're into phase 2 now. And yeah, we have 3 or 4 active sites in Norwood. One guy bought a site from one of the other participants, so I'm not sure if that's still in play. And yeah, just trying to keep everybody apprised of what we're doing. And if anyone ever wants to hop along for meetings or join along, I should say, you're more than welcome, but I realize everybody's busy as well. So,
Could you add me to that Placerville group? Cause I own
Sure.
property on Front Street.
yeah, so you're not in the email thread because it's actually a county commissioner list and I'm constantly adding to it. But yeah, no, I definitely will.
Check.
Yeah.
Be there tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and I'll send you the email that I sent out. Carmen, with county commissioners, she initially sent out an email probably a month ago and the meeting was initially scheduled, and then I just sent out a reminder last Wednesday, Thursday, but I will forward that to you. But yeah, it's just being at the Placerville Schoolhouse at 5 o'clock. And yeah, it's just gonna be me and our Ayers team. So 2 gentlemen from Ayers and, initially Mike Bordonia, our county manager, was going to be there. Ryan Rigetti, our road and bridge superintendent, was going to be there. But, I would rather keep the message just clear, concise, and focused on what we want to talk about, the task at hand. I'm sure we're going to segue into septic and drainage and other issues, but, if having other county reps in that room, I think might kind of, just shift focus. So, anyway, but if you see things not going well, help me. No. Join me at the table in front. Ah.
I'll bring nerve pads.
Exactly. But anyway, yeah, no, it's an exciting project and, yeah, and we're gonna be meeting at Butcher and Baker tomorrow morning at 8:30. If anyone wants to join us, just me and Ayers to kick off the day. So even if you don't want to join us as we do our round robin tour around the county, even if you just wanted to stop by at that time, just to have the conversation, you're more than welcome to join us for a cup of coffee. So, and what else? Yeah, and I think, yeah, oh, actually, here, hang on. These might be the latest renderings. I know I have a bunch of marked up sets in here, but, oh, wait. I mean, I'll email them to you. I'll share them with everybody. But, let me see if I have a copy here. These other ones are marked up. Hmm. Okay, here we go. But, oh no, that's an old one. All right, I'll email them to you after the meeting. These are all marked up. But no, and I always like engaging with the community because I think people feel, I think they appreciate it when you include them in the process. And, and my style is never one to, shove something down someone's throat or make them feel that that's the way things are being handled. I'd rather chat with the community up front and gain their input and comments and see what they think, what they feel, and then, incorporate their comments into the overall plan and, what the final end result will be. So, but anyway. Does anybody have anything else?
Nothing.
Mm.
Rest
Oh.
of it, yes.
Oh, no, and one thing I was gonna add too, so on May 19th, I am meeting, and Kieran, if you're available, I know we talked about it, but meeting with the US Forest Service, so this is to continue the conversation with Matterhorn Mill. Again, as I mentioned before, I meet with two groups. It used to be on a monthly basis, now it's sort of whenever they have new details. One group that deals with the tram cable removal, and then one group that deals with the actual conveyance and acquisition. But the tram cable removal needs to happen before the conveyance and acquisition. So on May 19th, and they did just confirm the date, we will be discussing the tram cable removal and so they sent an MOU agreement, which the county is involved with, and then also the Ute Mountain Ute tribes, and now it's just a question of who's going to be signing on to the agreement, and the whole development of this history trunk, because there's the educational component, which we've talked about in the past, and getting that together, hence Kieran's involvement with the museum, because the Ute Museum in Montrose is involved. So anyway, so Megan Eno and Robin Morris, they're going to be having that meeting on the 19th through Zoom. So that'll be at 1:00. And yeah, so we hadn't met in a couple of months because SHPO had been delaying the actual agreement, but I finally got a rough draft of that yesterday. So now we finally have something to discuss. But that's it for my world. Anyone else?
So I have a quick question.
Of
So,
course.
just trying to think of how I could be additive. How are funds held for for all these projects? How are they held currently? Like with the state of the market, like are they held in like all the funds that go towards these projects?
Well, so everything is budgeted through the county. So,
Okay.
so all of our funds, so we have our budget in place for 2025. And then, so that starts typically late summer, early fall, like in August, September, October, we'll begin those conversations. And then, we get together and discuss, projects for the following year, what we think we're going to accomplish. And then our work plan also dictates a lot of that as well. But yeah, when our funding is in place, it's in place. So none of it is jeopardized with what's going on, on the federal level. And well, and even with the EPA grant, no, and you pose a fair question, because with the EPA grant, I've had people say, "Oh God, is the grant in question?" But that's a grant that we draw down. So I got that money immediately. That was immediately deposited into the county's account, and now we just draw it down. So, yeah, so once those funds were awarded, they could not be taken back.
So nothing's at risk.
No, I mean, nothing's at risk. Yeah, we've got our county budget and the EPA funding is in place, so, we're pretty solid. Which is helpful, because and I see that too, because I met with the US Forest Service last week on some recreational trail projects. So it was a separate group, and and you can just see how their hands are just being tied and their efforts are just being hampered just with what they're trying to achieve and accomplish. And and even their summer rec ranger program, which now is not happening, and that's a program that the county Parks and Open Space Department funded, along with Towns Telluride, Mountain Village. And those are additional rangers that we had helping us out on the trails regionally. And and that's not happening. And it's just unfortunate. And and their hands are tied too from a PR standpoint. They're not allowed to publicize certain things. So that's when, we come in and throw things on our website just to spread the word about certain things. So, yeah. Challenges all around, but
Well, the one thing I wanted to say, can we, on our work plan, can we add, observe National Historic Marker Day? Yeah. So that's when last year, John,
yes,
our fellow John went out and cleaned the historic markers that the Ilium pull off, or not pull off, Sunshine pulled off there. And I was gonna try to see if some people could come out and clean the new ones we put in last year, so they could use the scrub down. Then, like everyone else, I just got too busy and forgot about it. But if we add it to the work plan, observe, it's the last Friday of every April.
and I think it coincided with Arbor Day this year. Yeah, because when John sent out the email, I was like, oh, we were going out with a school group to do our pheromone packs, our pea packs on the Douglas fir trees. So I had a separate thing going on that day.
And John used that as a good photo up last year. He was,
Yeah,
his wife Suzanne for the county took a nice picture of John scrubbing.
I know.
So it's an easy, as John said, it's an easy thing you do. Some of us are out there, you just bring in attention to the fact that these things are out there.
Sure.
But if we just add it to the work plan, then maybe remember next year, just observe National Historic. Then if some of us are around that last week in April, you go out to a couple of them.
Okay.
But yeah. They do it all over the country, so we might as well do it here too, right? As well. And it's also, just a good excuse to, because I realized after the fact that we installed our new panels, that they have a white background. White tends to show stain, graffiti and dirt, so.
Has there been graffiti?
It
Oh,
will be, but it will be before the next National Historic Marker Day. I'll give us something else.
as long as nobody marks it up.
But I'll probably go out and just hit those summary right about house, but
Okay.
my point is, it's on the work plan, maybe we'll actually do it next year.
Yeah, we also have our Parks and Open Space crew has gone out with the mountain school. I think some Thursday maybe, or tomorrow, doing more pheromone pack placement. So anyway, my point is they will be on the Keystone Gorge Loop Trail. So if they see something, with the signage or anything, they'll clean it up or let us know.
It's all, I mean, I'm down, it's all.
That's why we put it in your backyard.
You can see that.
You're now responsible.
The other thing I might bring up too, if I send this email out, it's context, I have to talk to fellow worker Rich first, but the Angel Oak Trail, Placerville,
Mm-hmm.
my friend Glenn and I.
Oh, yeah, you adopted it.
volunteered to clean it up.
Yes.
We, after all the rains last year, we got hit pretty hard
Right.
in August. And I went out with the county Parks and Rec employee, Tom. in the
Tom
fall,
Pessin.
And he's like, yeah, there could be some, a little bit more major work that could be done to just help sustain the length of this trail.
So you need like more water bars and stuff like that, or?
And he agrees, like, getting rid of like the old, what do you call it, stuff with the plastic black netting that they put in originally.
I put some of that in.
Did you?
My lot.
Yeah,
I got flooded.
jeez,
Oh,
yeah,
oh, you're right below?
Yeah, Mark, we're going in there like this.
jeez.
I mean, yeah, you got.
Like the one on the trail have deteriorated, some of them are like, just like, it's just the filling's gone. The black plastic is just embedded in the ground.
Right,
But Tom agreed it'd be nice to, take the more natural approach and, replace the rock wall buildups to help the drainage. But anyway, if, we get organized, and Tom said he would want to help with that, because it's a little bit more involved than just going out, picking up trash and scraping rock on the trail. I may send out an email to see if anybody on the historic commission wants to help that day. Get me moving around, because it's like my buddy and I.
no, I know, we're
It's
so
two
thankful to
people,
you.
and it's like, this is one, like, usually that trail is like, when we go to clean it, it's like, we basically walk it and.
Yeah.
A piece of trash and a couple sticks, the thing is in really good shape, but this is a little bit more one-time involved, like. But it's also a good excuse for moving, it's also just a good excuse to also run to the mines of the boat, which is always fun to do.
Oh, yeah, it's always cool to just keep going all the way to the
Yeah,
top.
just check them in. So if I do send that email out, you guys know what I'm talking, you can ignore it. Cause all you have to do is just sign the waiver, right? There's like a little waiver form. that's-
Yeah, we have a volunteer liability waiver form.
Well, it's got historic context, so it fits.
Yeah, no, and Tom's a great guy. He will definitely be ready to assist.
Anything else, anybody else?
No, our next meeting is, wow, July 8th. I know, because we meet every other month, but we always talk about summer hikes. So, I mean, we can, we don't have to wait till July. We can, well,
Oh, yeah.
like you're saying, Angel Load. I mean, we can,
I would put maybe. I would say either in July or September we go up,
oh, Norwood.
well, we have to do that, but then
Yeah.
also Matt's, the Mill Creek stuff. Matt's been talking about,
Mm-hmm.
we could do that in July, maybe.
Well, and like I said, we don't have to wait for the July 8th meeting. I mean, we can just coordinate a date before then.
That's true.
So,
I get slammed. Well, the thing, so when we presented our work plan to the county commissioners. I was just kind of blabbing on about stuff. And, I mentioned that, like we really want to get back out to Norwood and check in with the Rights Historic Society.
right,
And that's what the county commissioners, really-
Galena.
yeah, that's what they really grabbed onto. So.
It's okay, David.
It's my fault. But that's as simple as, the thing is, it's that society, I mean, if they're not around. To meet. For meetings, and they're not around, I mean. I don't know their situation. Really.
Oh, no, they're still very much there. I mean,
Yeah.
remember, we approved
Yeah,
community support funding for them. Although they never asked for much,
No.
it's,
but I guess it'd make our lives a little easier if I don't know who runs the society out there, if we just email them, and say these are. Our dates for July or September, if they wanna meet one of those dates, then that could be. The deciding factor, cause they may not be around either, so. Cause to me, it's more like what we discussed, is like just checking in with them, it's like, is there something
Yeah.
out here that has just been forgotten that you guys could maybe. Use some help with, either preserving or bringing some interpretation to. And there may be nothing, so, but. I guess we won't really know until we get out and just talk.
Yeah, no, and I remember years ago, I don't know how long ago, but I think John Wontrowski was actually working with Deanna Burbridge, because I oversee the fairgrounds as well, on some historic stuff. I forget what it was, but yeah. Some, I mean, because, well, we have the old horse, the stall barns, and I mean, we have historic structures up there. But there was something to do with like pictures and photos and stuff like that. I'll have to ask Deanna.
Yeah, I think if we just make an effort to really check in every couple of years or so. I mean, Norwood's such a huge widespread out area too, If there's anything out there that we can really do or that needs to be done, but I guess we'll ask.
Uranium mines.
Uranium mines, yeah. I mean, it's such a heavy ranching history, right, and farming history, but I know. They may be good. They may be good with the little bit of money we give them every year, and that's all they need from us.
Yeah, but I agree though. Yeah, it's what is her name? Barbara Youngblood.
Yeah,
She's still,
Yeah.
she learned, from that for a while. It's the ones taking on from her.
Yeah, and there's another woman involved now, but I believe she's helping Barbara. But yeah, no, I think they'd love that.
A lot of the books that were written by Howard Rager. Rager.
yeah,
I mean, that family still lives in Norwood,
yeah.
but just. I could tell some stories and focus our attention to something potentially out there, but they're like these historic cabins or mine sites.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like the ranch land, like
Yeah,
the Sukla stuff. And there's the ditches, the farm, but I mean, it's just. That's like modern history
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
beyond that.
Well, like, yeah, the woman who cuts my hair here in town, her family, they live in Red Vale. And they're like friends with the old Alexander guy. Still lives out there.
There's 100 Alexanders
But
out
he's
there.
like the old,
The old one.
yeah.
Oh,
And
him.
like they've gone like hanging out on the property down there, Bill Creek and stuff. Like that guy's like still like I didn't realize there was someone still around like on this property,
Yeah.
actively. Like, it'd be good to talk with those people occasionally.
Oh,
I mean, there's a lot of history around their property and some of it's on their property and
there is though. Remember, I sent an email, like a month or two ago? Because Carmen was telling me about like an old burial ground, an Indian burial ground on someone's property up there. I think it was on 44ZS. Because I don't know if it was Alexander, but she was talking to one of the older gentlemen in the Norwood community not too long ago. And he kept saying as a kid how he remembered how his grandparents kept trying to build this house and how it kept burning down. And then they found out it was located on, maybe that was Snyder, might have been Snyder. But yeah, no, I mean, those are two families up there where the history goes
yeah.
back so many generations.
Yeah.
Um,
We'll bring him a fruit basket. Well, it's like that is the Tyrant Norwood thing sometimes with some people, but.
Well, and then there's the, yeah, have you heard of that? Because this came up with the Eagle Bluff Ranch and the Sukla Ranch, that book where Eagles Winter or something like that. Because I think I mentioned to you guys last summer, a gentleman came into my office with his granddaughter with all these historic documents. I mean, like the originals, like the thin paper. And he was a descendant of a woman who homesteaded at the Sukla Ranch by herself, like 100+ years ago. And she's in that book. They wrote about her in that book.
Wow.
And yeah, I can't remember her name. I have to search my emails.
Yeah.
That was another one I sent.
All right, well, so we hopefully 2 field trips.
At least. I think we just booked everybody for the summer. All right, well, thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time. Wanna call it?
Meeting adjourned.
Okay.
At,
Thank
6 p.m. When's Greg get back to work?
I should probably stop the recording before I comment.
Thanks, everybody. See you.
Thanks.